So today I thought I would do a little quick walk over Kinver Edge and introduce you to the world famous rock caves of Kinver Edge, which are up there. Holy Austin Rock Cave up on the hill there. Now, because that is now owned by the National Trust, unfortunately you can't get near it without paying. If you're a member of the National Trust, then free entry, but you used to be able to at least walk up close to it, but now you can't. But there are some other rock caves over Kinver that you probably don't know about. One called Nanny's Rock and Vale's Rock. And there's some really quite interesting history to be had around Kinver Rock Houses and Kinver Edge itself. So, Holy Austin Rock in the background. Well, how far back do records go for rock houses, the Kinver Rock Houses? Well, the earliest known record is 1617, where there was a death record of a Margaret of Foxearth, as she was known, that lived in Nanny's Rock, which is about 1.5 miles that way, which we will go and have a look at. So it's not just the rock houses over Kinver that are of interest, but there's actually 2 hill forts over on Kinver Edge. First one just walking up to now. Lots and lots of brilliant walking paths around Kinver and Kinver Edge, and loads of history as well. So it's quite an easy climb, it's not massively steep. So you can still see we're over the other side where the ramparts are more visible. Let's watch this side. You can see the ramparts more clearly around this inlet, going all the way around. But we're going to go down, back down, try and find the path that I seem to remember Nanny's Rock is on. Little brick building there. I'll come on to the other hidden feature under Kinver Edge when I get to a more sheltered spot, like Nanny's Rock maybe, or Vale's Rock. Yeah, so I think the car park was down there where we parked, which would mean we keep following this path. A steep path down, you just see there on that horizon, and a steep path up. If memory serves me right, Nanny's Rock, I think, is just round the corner. Now, Nanny's Rock is a little bit different in that it was actually a natural cave that was enlarged by its early inhabitants. And it's believed that Holy Austin Rock was in its entirety hand carved. Okay, it wasn't just round the corner, a bit further. I think just down the hill. So the question is, where did it get its name, Nanny's Rock? Well, that was down to one of its inhabitants, the late 19th century, early 20th century, of the lady that lived there, who was very much considered a hermit and a loner that you didn't go and visit. It's just coming up on the left. Go and check it out. There it is. Nanny's Rock. So it is thought that Nanny's Rock, this cave, was actually initially a natural forming cave in the sandstone, but was then later carved out into a larger dwelling that you see now. Quite dark up the one end. But pretty cool. So believe it or not, by 1860 there were 44 families living in Holy Austin Rock, and in 1901 there was the first cross-country tramway that was put in to Kinver, and Kinver rapidly grew into a popular tourist destination, and it sort of got its name as Little Switzerland because of its quaint nature. And around that time, entrepreneurs of the day set up cafes at Holy Austin Rock, welcoming visitors from the Black Country on a weekend, getting away from the industry that would have been prevalent at the time. So one of the most interesting records of Nanny's Rock was by Nancy Price, who was born in 1880 and became at the time a well-known actress of theatre, and was awarded an MBE. And she published a book, an autobiography, in 1953, and used to visit Nanny's Rock as a child. And in her book she says that, you know, Nanny was this this mad old lady that people used to fear, who used to make potions and lived with a cat here in Nanny's Rock, which was the only rock house that didn't have any windows, as in any glass. You know, it was open to the elements. And detailed things like coming here on a pony, where Nanny used to make, on one occasion, made her a bracelet from human hair and did an incantation on the bracelet and gave it to Nancy, and said at the time that she would never be troubled by distrust from people or loved ones. And in her autobiography actually says that whether by luck or whether by the bracelet, that she never did suffer from distrust or any bad doings from anybody. So make of that what you will. Okay, there you go, there's Nanny's Rock. And if we carry on, again, they're equally spaced. They're about a mile and a half from Holy Austin to Nanny, and then about another mile and a half further down the track you then come to Vale's Rock. Now, Vale is off grid a little bit because, I mean, a few years ago when I visited, it was actually fenced off, overgrown, and quite a job to get to. but I think they have started restoring it now. Yeah, I think it's only round the corner now, saying that. So it's not far from Nanny's Rock at all. Right, let's see what they've been doing at Vales Rock. So yeah, I believe the National Trust have been starting work on Vales Rock because it was so overgrown and actually quite dangerous. So I absolutely love this particular little complex of rock houses. So these bottom caves or rock houses, there's actually a series of 4 houses that would have been here, and you can still see there's some of the brickwork's new where they've shored up the sort of ceiling parts, but some of it is original down there. That's sort of the original brick that would have been here when they were houses. And then just up there, so the bottom houses were known as Crow's Point, and up there was Vales Rock or Vales Point. There's the well, now well and truly secured, thankfully. It said the well over at Holy Austin Rock was one of the deepest in the country. While some say 80 feet, others say that they had to go down to around 180 feet before they hit water. So Crow's Rock, series of rooms that were actually 4 separate houses. Now these did in the day actually have windows in, which you can still see. One of them around here has still got the frame in. And there is a photo I found online actually, which I will throw in, that sort of shows the houses as they were way back then. So you can see this one still has some frames in there. And you can see that it does look like these boulders here, crikey, you can actually see that at some point were part of this rock face. And that's actually new, they've been doing work. You can see the ties that they've put in to shore up the rock face now. So around 1930, the Reeves family that lived here moved out. They moved to Holy Austin Rock due to a collapse. And again, those stones in front do actually appear that they did sort of fall from the ceiling there at some point. Again, that's all been shored up, thankfully. So they moved out to Holy Austin Rock and opened up a refreshment room there until about 1935. Another family moved in, or a guy moved in, known as Jack Leyland. Now Jack Leyland was well known as a besom maker, And in layman terms, what is a besom maker? Basically brooms. So he supplied besoms to the local industry, and one of the biggest, there was a foundry over in Kinver that's now known as Hyde Lane. Places like that would use them. I have to say though, one of the things that can be said about this rock cave is just how peaceful it is. So peaceful. So follow the path up and go check out Vales, which sits above Crows. Again, some fairly new brickwork on this one, look. Again, they've shoed it up a bit. Oh, I wonder what that is down there. See all the new pins that they've put in, holding it all together. Pretty spectacular views. Now, there was some stories of two old ladies that lived in this particular rock houses. Apparently one was a dog lover and one was a dog hater. Not sure how that worked, but now it was said that the people that lived in the rock houses tended to outlive those that were living in sort of council housing way back then. whether that was down to the sort of remoteness or the coziness, because they held, the one thing about rock houses is they hold a really sort of constant temperature, so they're warm in the winter and then cool in the summer. So what you may or may not have known, under Kinver Edge, as you go further up this road, lies a secret nuclear bunker, which is no longer secret, but forms about 3.5 miles of underground tunnels that back in around 1941-42 was a rover shadow factory that at that time was making parts for aircraft, and then later on, after the Second World War, they started making parts for tank engines, and that was up till about all the way up till about 1958, and that then got handed over to the government when, during the 60s, it basically then became a secret nuclear bunker and a secret head of governance. So in the event of a nuclear war, this site, along with a whole host of other sites in the country, would have been where the government would have carried on operating from. And then in the Cold War, it was actually then upgraded, the bunker doors were upgraded to blast proof doors. Again, at this point, it was still a secret bunker that nobody knew about. But then in recent years, kind of just got left, and the one owner, somebody brought it, and it used to be open then to the public now and again, where you could hire it out. Various music videos were shot there. They used to do tours, ghost tours and all sorts. Until recently, it's now owned by a wine company that you can sort of go as a day visitor and still go and look round parts of it that have been restored. It's known as Drakelow Tunnels. Google Drakelow Tunnels, lots of history on it. Car's just down there. So there you have it. Nice little whirlwind tour of Kinver Edge and the rock caves, with a little added mention of the nuclear bunker just around the corner, which you can now visit.